This 40K event got stopped because the boat caught on fire. You're never gonna believe what happened in round 4. Watch till the end to find out how all of my models melted in the fire.
Get clickbaited, idiot. This is still just gonna be about the event. I'll talk about the fire briefly, but that's not what actually matters, okay? What matters is you need to get better at the game. The USS Hornet burning down doesn't mean anything. Well, okay, it does. I'm not gonna upset any people. Get to the video. Hello everyone, my name is Nexus Floop, and it is so lovely to see you today. I'm here to talk to you about Gene Stealer codes. Well, actually, hold on. No, I lied. I'm here to talk to you about Adeptus Mechanicus. That's right. Today is actually, we're going to be going back and actually finishing out the series that I had started, or not series, but where I'm going back and actually talking about Admech, my second faction that I play pretty regularly. We had a GT this past weekend at the Carrier Clash GT out in Alameda, I want to say, and I'm excited to share with you how I went undefeated with Admech, except I didn't go undefeated because the venue, how do I YouTuber clickbait this? You'll never believe what happened in round 4. Anyways, the venue caught on fire. So let's go ahead and roll that intro, baby. Woo! Also, yeah, I am reorganizing things. If you'll see here, I've got models behind me. Don't worry, I'm getting lights so to where all you guys can, look at my pretty GSC models while I'm talking about things. But those are coming in on Thursday. So for right now, you're just gonna have to stare at my pretty face in a dark, dim lit corner. Lighting is my bane. Anyways, so we are going to talk about the Carrier Clash GT out in Alameda. Now, this was done on an aircraft carrier, the USS Hornet, which actually nowadays is just a museum. You can see back here to where we were starting to load on. There were some issues that I have with how this GT was effectively ran, just in terms of some scheduling things, to where the event started at 9, but when we got there, us and the TO apparently learned that it isn't open to the general public until 10, as well as people could stay in overnight, but they couldn't leave to get dinner past a certain time. So we learned midway through round 2 that there will be a lunch after round 2. It was a few things happened, but overall, in terms of like how the venue is, it's very, very cool. There's just a lot of things inside. There's some, there's some planes, there's some old helicopters, there's a lot of stuff from World War II, as well as some spacecraft, when astronauts went up in space and all that kind of stuff and they came down. I'm not gonna give the whole history lesson. Go to the USS Hornet, show some love, all that fun stuff. It's a very cool museum. Also, this thing is, as you can probably tell, fucking massive, right? My team, we are very tiny, and we are actually pretty far from the fucking boat at this point. This thing is fucking huge. So yeah, overall, very fun time. One of my favorite things was that actually it would take like a good couple minutes to walk from one side of the boat to the other. And overall, like, the venue was sick, but anyways, I digress. Okay, so we'll go over a quick little review here of just the list, and then I've got TTS booted up, and we'll go ahead and take a look at that as well. So, the usual Floofcox, trans rights are human rights, because they are. Adeptus Mechanics, we're doing Lords of the Forge and Radzone Cohort. Okay, Lords of the Forge has a lot of things going on with it. It feels wild to be a 1-point detachment, but either way. Tech Priest models get a 4-up invuln and a 5-up feel no pain. This does affect things like Thulia and Call, to where they will also get a 5-up feel no pain from this interaction, which is very, very good. But things, as we will see later, is the Tech Priest Manipulus, Techno Archaeologist. They will have a 4-up invuln all the time. They will have a 5-up feel no pain. It's very good. But then also in the Servitor Battleclade, the Underseer does have the Tech Priest keyword, specifically like the big-brained little dude. And so that random sergeant model gets a 4-up invuln and a 5-up feel no pain. I believe he has 2 wounds as well. I'll double check that, but either way. With this, you can give Armor of Contempt, you can give fallback, shoot, and charge, I want to say. I don't think it's fallback, shoot, and do actions. But you get like some very good strats as well as a very funny enhancement in the TL409. which is the 3 shots, strength 11, AP like 3 or 4. I think it's dev wounds, D3 plus 2 damage. It's just a little funny gun, right? But the main thing and the main reason why I'm taking it is because it says whenever a tech priest unit is selected to shoot, you roll a d6. And on a 2-up, you either can retain the hidden status, or you can make a vehicle within 12 of you take a battle shock at -1. And that's very, very good. It's very versatile. Oftentimes, Call and Thulia, obviously they don't need the hidden thing because they aren't infantry, and also they're just lone op, right? So they're just running up and giving vehicles battle shocks. With Thulia, it's very great because she's very offensive against vehicles, because she also says, hey, on another 2-up, take D3 plus 1 mortal wounds. This has a very strong matchup into like any kind of like parking lot list. It's actually very, very, very fun. And then Radzone Corpse. So Radzone Corpse is the one to where you essentially mortar shell their deployment zone in round 1. Everything takes D3 mortal wounds in their deployment zone, and only in their deployment zone, on a 3-up in the first battle round. Or they can choose to battle shock their units, and whichever ones are battle shocked, it goes off on a 5-up. So if you roll that 5-up, you still take the D3 mortal wounds and your unit's battle shocked, right? But it's something to where in 11th edition now, that doesn't fall off anymore. So you just are battle shocked at until you can unbattle shock, and into some leadership 7 armies. That's very, very brutal, as we will see in a bit. As well, it has a very good enhancement called Peerless Eradicator, where you can give a unit sustained hits. We see this with Cataphron Breachers. The Manipulus gives the squad lethal hits, then the Peerless Eradicator gives their shooting sustained. Breachers, their profile is 2 shots, rapid fire 2, 30-inch range at 823, as well as they reroll once to hit, or if they're within 6 inches of battle line, that's full hit rerolls. And that is 24 shots at 823 sus lethal full hit rerolls, is with also anti-vehicle 4-up, is very disgusting. But anyways, I digress. It gives you 2 CP to get a 4-up invuln in shooting, which came up I think once. You can give yourself -1 to wound for 2 CP. You can give full hit rerolls if they're in their deployment zone. Also, another huge one is an auto 6 advance, and we'll talk about why that's huge when we go into the models, which let's go ahead and do that. So, those are our 2 detachments. We can walk through the list, sure, but also I can just show you the models, right? So, to start off, we have a Techno Archaeologist. This is the 12-inch Deep Strike Now guy, as well as +1 OC for his unit. He was attached to 5 Fusiliers. Originally, when I was testing out the list, he was attached to Battleclade, but I like just being able to throw away the Battleclade, and it felt very awkward to do that with him attached to them, so I just said, fuck it, I'll attach him to the Fusiliers. Now, this does make the squad 180, which is very, very expensive. I don't think I would want to do that going forward, but it's still something to where it was fun this weekend. I wanted to run Fusiliers. They're just fun. For 115, it's 5 las cannons that ignores covers against monsters and vehicles, as well as some little chest pintle gun. It's fine. Effectively for me, what I saw it as was a 7th screening unit, and Techno joining them allowed them to be another damage unit into more vehicle stuff. I was expecting to go into a lot of vehicles this weekend, so that's why I decided to take these guys. I just wanted more anti-tank, right? As well, he has the TL409, so as we were discussing, it can come up here. Yep, first thing under ranged weapon, 24-inch range, 3 attacks on 2s, strength 11, AP2, D3 plus 2 damage with devastating wounds and hazardous. Yeah, overall, great gun. And then him joining them allows these guys to say, hey, on a 2-up, we're going to stay hidden, which just worked very, very well. Moving on, we have the Scatman, Sidonian Scatros, with the Radial Suffusion enhancement. And what that does is it says, hey, on the second battle round onwards, for when we are going to resolve the Rad Zone detachment rule, because I don't think I fully covered it. Effectively, from round 2 on, everything in your opponent's deployment zone, also on a 3-up, right, you will roll a die for every model that is within, not wholly within, just within. You roll a 3-up, and on that 3-up, they take a mortal wound, and they have to take another battle shock test. Which, once again, this is very brutal. It just super punishes armies that want to stay back. It kind of makes them have to walk for you. So the Radial Suffusion actually says, hey, add 6 inches onto that. So let's go ahead and this was our deployment zone. Let's go ahead and take a look at our opponent's side of the board. This is going to be their deployment zone, and this is what the 6 inches looks like on a Dawn of War map. And I played a lot of Dawn of War this weekend. With this coming back into the rotation, sure, like hammer and anvil matches are pretty decent because you're going, it's like 18, so you're going 24 inches up the board. You're basically going to like right here, right? If it was to go the other way. But right here, if you'll see, to hold their natural expanse, they have to effectively be touching up against this wall. If they want to try and hold it behind the wall, they risk on a 3-up having to Battleshock and not hold their objective, which was a very real risk against certain armies. They can't safely hold the center objective back here with like a little lone op or whatever the fuck. He will be taking Battleshocks. They have to push out up into here. And once again, this isn't you just have to be out. This is you have to be wholly out of your deployment zone to not take this. So it's not, ooh, I can put a guy here. It's no, my whole unit has to be past this line, right? And then their whole staging area as well. If they have something staged up here and I Battleshock it and it doesn't un-Battleshock on their turn, they have no strat support sending in this unit to go handle my natural, right? That's very dangerous for them. So our detachment rule naturally makes our opponent want to walk forward, right? Because they want to get out of range of these bombs. They don't want their, as we'll see against like Tau, they don't want their guiding units to constantly take battle shocks. So they have to push them up more forward aggressively. And so if our opponent's walking towards us, we want to punish that, right? Now, if you'll notice, compared to most Admech lists, I don't have any chickens. I don't have any Iron Strider Ballistari at all, because I was looking to play a much slower, grindier game. And I'm using it with the 2 Cataphron bricks. So we'll go into our next 2 attached units. The first one is going to be the Breachers with a heavy arc rifle and hydraulic claw. Arc rifle 30 shots on 4s, 2 shots each, but rapid fire 2. So if you're within 15, it's 24 shots in total. Anti-vehicle, we've already gone over all of this, right? But then also 2 attacks in melee at 823 is very, very good. Yeah, Manipulus also had a special little rail cannon on him as well. 1 shot, 3 up ballistic skill, 723, super good. And then yeah, we've got 2 ranger squads. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I went off. We also have a destroyer squad. Okay, the destroyers are going to be running the plasmas and the flamers, and this tends to be the squad that I want to kind of more aggressively start to push forward. The one I'm more fine with losing first, basically. Not that they're really going to die if you play them right. We'll talk into the general game plan in a sense. But so it's 24 plasma shots that I don't even see the 721 profile. You overcharge this every time. It's 832. If you're possibly in Conqueror, then it is 842, which is insane. Almost always whatever they were shooting at was getting call rerolls, or because they're so long range at 36-inch range, I could just pop the 1 CP and say, hey, that thing in your deployment zone, I have a line on it. I'm just going to shoot it with full hit rerolls, lethal hits. It's very, very good. Manip gives them lethal, and then also the Manips give these guys a once a game 4-up invuln in a phase. They're T6, they're 3 wounds a pop. They're decently durable. They have a 3-up armor. You could do the AOC, or you could give them the 4-up invuln. Like, there's ways to make them defensive, but effectively the main thing that was making these guys defensive was the fact that they stayed hidden. Okay, I'm putting them breachers like right here into this area to where they're right up, guy touch here, here, and here. And then they can just see out all they want, right? Or the destroyers are right there and breachers are pushed up into here and they're just pushing forward. And the reason being is the rest of the list we'll talk about in a second is going to make it to where they're standing in and our opponent is going to be 15.1 inches away. Okay. And all we want to do is retain hidden, or in some instances where we can make it happen, we want to the 12-inch hidden, because we'll have go to ground because we're hiding behind dense things. So like right here, we tuck a gun just behind this wall, and now all 6 of these guys have go to ground because this dense terrain feature is blocking full line of sight to our models. So we effectively have load up on these guys that have a 30-inch range gun that is sus lethal full hit rerolls. That's very good. That's very, very good. Especially when our opponent has to be out in this space, in this space, in this space. Sure, we can't go ahead and see into here to go ahead and shoot our opponent, but guess what? We don't need to. They're not going to be there. They're going to walk forward because they're like, ow, damage hurt. I don't want to get battle shocked and, you know, get screwed on a go turn, right? So, effectively, these are our main two pieces, right? This is how we win the game, is these two Cataphron bricks. And truth be told, I kind of want to get a third. I'm thinking about maybe schmooving these guys into a third cat brick, but we'll find out. Now, moving on. I need to protect my Cataphrons. And how I'm going to do that is with the units you see before you right now. I have a 5/5 and a 10 of Sikaran infiltrators. These guys move 8. They make you take a battle shock if you're engaged with them at the start of the fight phase. And they have a leadership aura. Or not a leadership aura. Yeah, a leader, kind of. It's at -1 if you're within 6 inches of them. If they are within, these guys are within 6 inches of the Rangers, it's at -2. Hey, you want to know what's really good? I've had these guys live through my opponent's turn, right? Or at least staged behind a wall, just being an asshole, right? To where they're like, hello, we're over here. You don't want to deal with us, but you're trying to hold the point right here. Or maybe I failed like a 4-inch charge or whatever. I'm still within 6 and you're going to leave your guys there. That we have this -1 or -2 aura that can go off when we go to do the rad bombardment, right? So the main reason they are there is to do what we were talking about. Actually, let me go set them back. Is they are quick enough to go stand in front of our opponent's army, or at least the things that can get up to here, they run out and go and tag, right? And so oftentimes we're staging a guy right in here, we're staging 10 of them right up into here, and then we're staging like another 5 over into here. What's also great for them is the fact that we have this auto advance 6 strat, right? And you may be going floof. I get that they move 8, and moving 14 is very good, but they don't have advance and charge natively. That is true. Thank you for bringing that up. That's why Thulia is here. Thulia is fantastic because she says, effectively, she does the COD Zombies thing of fetch me their souls. And she just gives out, she chooses her aura, which will be the advance and charge. She walks up within 6 of these guys and says, hey, I bestow upon you my aura. And then 10 of these motherfuckers move 14 inches and charge you. If ever, I don't need full hit rerolls for these guys because I see what they want to shoot is in your deployment zone, and I am just going to spend the strat for full hit rerolls there. I have given the full hit rerolls into what these guys are going into, and now it's 30 attacks with sus 2. I'm rolling for anything that's not a 6. I'm re-rolling. I've gotten like 15 6s one time and it was like, okay, 30 extra sustained hits. It's disgusting. So they play very well into just being quick enough to go touch our opponent and stop them from walking up towards us. They're durable enough to where our opponent into the matchups that we want them to go into, they don't die on the crackback immediately, right? So into a lot of gunline armies or fast gun stuff, they don't have the ability to kill 10 of these guys in one activation, right? Especially after I punch into you. So their whole role is to go walk up, tag something that could get within this 15, and then have like 3 guys die or whatever and still be tagging you, right? Make it to where you can't get over here to get to the breachers. You may kill them on your turn, sure, but it's bought me a turn to move the breachers up now. And maybe I go, cool, I'm gonna go into Conqueror, I'm gonna move the breachers up into here. And now I go duh, 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 duh. Every time I say go, I'm actually saying bullet, go, 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 and then we continue to kill you, right? Now, so we have fast fucky wucky guys that like to mess with people. Moving on, we also have Battleclade. 3 servitor Battleclade. This unit is fucking insane. There's so many different guns on this. TTS doesn't do its justice. We effectively have 3 flamers. We have 2 guns that ignore cover, but they're kind of eh. We have an arc rifle, we have a heavy bolter, we have a melt-a-gun, and then we have like a little dev wound pistol. The main thing, though, is that these guys can advance, shoot, and do actions. They don't natively have assault, but they can advance and do an action, and then while they're doing an action, they can still shoot their guns. So if ever you're in Conquer or you've given these guys double imperative, actually I don't know, I don't think you can give these guys double imperative, but either way, if you're in Conquer, if these guys have assault, they can still shoot their gun, which is very, very good. Because I don't know if you noticed over here, we are on, it didn't say, we're on priority assets. Okay, we're taking our other detachment choice could have been taken hold, but just with the Battleclade and also just Lords of the Forge having a strat where you can still shoot and do an action, that was the other strat. Sorry. It's just free to do actions in this. So what I like to do is I like to play the early game with these Battleclade, make my opponent walk forward to try and deal with them, and then when they're trying to deal with them, I hit them with the sun. Well, not you. This is the sun I hit them with, okay? You're just a sun, S-O-N, not the sun, S-U-N. This is a lot of damage here, right? Call, maybe not so much, but he is a damage amplification to help enable other things to be better damage. Also, like, his melt-a-gun actually is pretty good. Thulia is just a beat stick. I love her to death. There's so many times to where, like, on turn 3, they've just kind of thrown something chunky up the table. I'm like, okay, get in there, girl. And she just goes and commits war crime, right? Basically, everything in this list, all of this is expendable to me to help enable these cataphrons. This is how I win the game, okay? This unit, these 2 units, delete anything in this fucking game. But if I lose these 2 units, then I fall apart, right? And I'll let you know right now, I'm bringing this list to other events throughout the year. I'm letting you know how to beat me. If you lose to me, that's on you, dog. Skill issue. Anyways, we continue. Next up, we've got 2 Ranger squads. They're just good. I like them. A lot of the Rad Zone stratagems, they work around, you could possibly give the benefit to a Skitarii battle line unit and then bounce it onto something that is within 6 of them. So oftentimes when I would auto advance 6, what I would do is I would make it to where these 3 units are within 6 of each other. And I would go, cool. So she gives advance and charge. And then these guys auto advance 6. They're going to go ahead and sprint up their 14. And then these guys are also just going to sprint up 12. And they're just going to go hide behind a wall. They're not going to be right behind the infiltrators, but they're going to be on the closest wall. And there's going to be guys trailing back enough to where even if I lose a guy in terms of, like, you know, what I'm fighting into, right? Let's just say little Timmy here won't be able to fight. It's still allowing me, before I do my pylons, to say, hey, this Battleshock is at -2, right? There's a very big Battleshock sub-theme in this army that I know a lot of people don't like Battleshock. I love it. It's so fun. People say Battleshock isn't real, and then they tilt the fuck out in my games because they're going, I can't do anything. I can't hold the point. I can't do any actions. Like, this into the priority assets mirror is disgusting. It's actually such a bully, especially as well. He almost never really did anything, but him just being able to pop off shots and whatever he hits also has to take a battle shock. The Call and Thule are pointing at vehicles and telling them to take a battle shock. There's just so many, like, hey, take a battle shock. We are what Tyranids wish they were, or what GW wishes Tyranids were, right? I know Tyranid players don't want to be Tyranid players right now, but we are what GW wishes Tyranids were. I basically get a mini Shadows every battle round. That's disgusting. And then all of my tech priests become my neurolictors that say, hey dude, take a battle shock, right? Even these guys, there's been times to where I walk them out of cover and I just say, hey dog, I'm obviously not hidden, take a battle shock, right? So there will be times, because, like, here's the thing that makes this dumb is that you just have to be on cover to get hidden, right? So if I'm looking at my opponent, and we'll go ahead and erase all the drawn lines here. Technically, from my opponent's blue deployment zone, I am in cover and I am hidden. You cannot see me, right? So something that is right here. This is that line, okay? And what these infiltrators do is they go and they walk over here and they say, hey, you're not getting any lines over here. Stay away from my dad, okay? And then we just go ahead and blow up anything here. And we say, hey, dog, you're not going to get any sightlines here. If you want to walk to go get these guys, you have to end right here. You have to end within this line. And why that's very good for me is that all of these guys right here, they overwatch on 5s. So it's 24 shots at 832, overwatch on 5s, as well as 66 flamers at 401. Or maybe it's 301? It is 401. Okay, I was right. Oh, hey, look, my flamer has lethal hits. It's a very good overwatch. And even if this was the breacher unit, it's 24 shots, sus lethal, dog. On average, I get 4 of those, which means if you are a base marine body, more than likely you're taking 8 wounds at 823. That's really rough. Now, that does turn off my my hidden, but it's still something to where if you only walk one thing up to go deal with them, and oftentimes a lot of people don't have like a second or third thing that they can invest in a turn to go deal with something, then yeah, you just lose the fucking game, right? And if you do commit 2 things, what I do is I say, cool, so I'm going to overwatch and kill one of these things, and then when the other one tries to deal with me, I'm going to pop a 4-up invuln, okay? And more than likely, you cannot chew through 18 wounds that are T6 with a 3-up armor 4-up invuln in one activation. I've had people drop a Defiler in front of me, and I go, that's crazy, dog. Guess what you have? A dead Defiler. This interaction is very disgusting, because effectively what it is these guys are going to go back here, and the first 2 turns, right, we are just going to play very defensively. We're going to say, hey, don't walk near me or anything like that. I don't want it. And we're just going to take pot shots at all of their things to play the game. We're going to trade our infiltrators for their scouts, right? And we're just going to take away all their mission play, okay? And we say, hey, you have to play the game with real things, right? We're over here, something like this. And then when they do that, haha, I said that, then we go, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and pop Conqueror. Let's just say we roll a 1. We walk up to here. We're back something like this. We just push these guys up. They're doing their thing. They're very fun. Maybe we can get like a guy to be like right here and right here. And we just go ahead and we just blow them up, right? At the same time, we are investing Thulia and Call, and they're going and being assholes. A lot of times, they're actually walking in front of the breachers, and they're just going off and doing their own things, sometimes holding hands, sometimes they're taking separate flanks, because these guys are T8, 2-up, 4-up, 5-up, right? 2-up armor, 4-up invuln, 5-up feel no pain. They've got very good shooting, and they've got decent melee, and then very good melee here, right? And you just go ahead and you truck people, and then you go, hey, so if you don't kill these 2 models, then you kind of lose the game, because Call and Thulia are in your face, and they're just going to keep activating with the Super Melta and a bunch of damage 3 melee, right? And they're just going to blow you up. Cool. But if you do kill them, then you spend all of your time killing Call and Thulia, and now I have all of my Cataphrons, and they're going to go ahead and kill what just killed Call and Thulia, right? These guys have full hit rerolls because I will have a battle line near them, so they don't care that Call is missing. These guys, it's just a good volume of shots. If you have, I'm going to shoot with them first, and I'm going to make sure at least 2 of these breachers can go see what these guys are shooting and say, hey, if they kind of whiff, or if they leave something on one that I need dead, it's dead, dog. It's very dead. Like the math on this was one of the things I was expecting to see this weekend was CK War Dog spam, about 15 War Dogs. And these guys can split fire comfortably between the 3 of them and kill 2 dogs, and semi-comfortably between 3 of them and still kill all 3 dogs. It's very, very good. So yeah, the overall list is a very damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario, to where I am trying to play this game with all my Battleclade, make you crash on that by trying to run at me. Because I'm going to play the game just better than you can, because I'm on the best disposition in 40k, and I have the best units that can advance, shoot, and action. I can do whatever I need. I have the mission play. I have the speed to go play the secondary deck. if I'm just allowed to goldfish, I'm getting to 100 and there's nothing you can do to stop me, right? So then you have to run at me to stop me, and I go, cool. So I'm still going to get my 100, but it's not going to be boring. And thank you for making it not boring, and I get to shoot the hell out of you. So let's go ahead and take a look at the weekend, right? Let's take a quick look at the placings in terms of how everything worked out. Now, this was a 5-round event. As you can see here, we only have 3 rounds on the actual event. That is, what happened here? We'll talk about it in a second. But we're going 100, 95, 95. I played GSC final day. I played into a teammate, Tice D'Amigo, on Retcod Tau. And then in my round 3, I actually played the Mirror into a very fun Admech local. He was very good at the faction. He was on Cohort Cybernetica with Lords, and I was on Rad Lords. It was kind of a bad matchup for him because I'm Battleshocking his stuff, and I can just do all the actions I want. I also think, weirdly enough, in the Admech Mirror, you're advantaged based on how many Battleclade you have, and I have 3 and he has 2. So it was pretty rough for him. But anyways, let's go ahead and go into the event. So an hour passes and we're finally able to start loading up onto the boat. Here is me taking a fun little selfie with my teammate, who in this moment is telling me that he has vertigo and cannot actually like really, you know, collect himself enough for a fun little selfie, because we were, I don't know if you could tell from this angle over here, we're very high up and we're on a very shaky little bridge, and it was freaking him the fuck out. It was very funny. But we get on, we start playing our game. I go into Vi. She is a gender fluid. I go into Vi, who is a member of the GSC, my GSC Discord. Very good player. Is basically just mains final day, and we had a very fun game. This is our deployment. This is also, hey, if you'll notice these little things, this is also a showcase of why I didn't really super love this event, or how it was ran. One, this was like an inch gap. The tables were not level, at least for this setup. On other tables they were better, but good lord. And yeah, the TO didn't remember to double check all of the terrain, so these squares were just not here. Then so they did paper cutouts. And on day 2, which we will see later, these wasn't because the TO remembered. This was because Ed brought their own, right? So, oh, that's right. My round 3 was EC, not Ed. Anyways, okay. Going into Vi, they deployed their gene sealers pretty aggressively in a line right here. Personally, I would tuck this guy right here. That way you maintain hidden at all times. This is very much like they were just going first, right? Is that they wanted to go first. We talked about it afterwards. These rock grinders were a little misdeployed over here. They should have been in different spots, as well as their home point didn't matter that much, but just having these only here, it allowed me to bully it, which ends up happening. I go first, infiltrators go and they harass the Death Leaper. I think they inevitably end up dying, but they leave him on 3, which he gets picked up later by some Battleclade. I go and I pick up both squads of Gene Sealers. These Battleclade go here and they're doing actions. There was a moment to where actually the infiltrators go here. They go to pick up these Gene Sealers right here with a charge. And Vi actually hits like an 11-inch heroic intervention from the Red Terror, and is able to get them in and clean up the infiltrators, which then go up and cause some havoc up here into the Rangers next turn, but ends up leaving like 3 of them alive. Vi does their best, but effectively gets tabled on 3. Both trucks try to come up and stage at points, but I'm able to just get angles with either the Cataphrons into one of them, or the... Actually, no, it's like Thulia into 1, or Call into 1 to pick it up, and then the Fusilers over here drop down 1 turn and then move over to the side to get an angle to then kill the Rock Grinder. Yeah, this was just a pretty clean match. I have the 10 infiltrators back here. They end up going in, I want to say on like turn 2 to They were originally going to touch and pick up 20 neophytes, but Vi rapid ingress 20 more to the side of them, and I was able to swing charge and tag into the other 20 neos to keep them from being able to do bad things to my cataphrons that had moved up. So that was very fun and very cool. But yeah, it was a pretty rough match. Hypers only ever got to go into Battleclade, which was and yeah, this ends up being, I want to say, let's go find out. A 90, nope. This was a 100 to 75. So still kept it close. Not too bad. They were on recon, if I recall. No, they weren't on recon. No, yeah, they were on recon because the only other disposition they could have is purge. Yeah, it was a fine list. We're looking at like double Neo Bricks, 2 hyper squads. Nothing's in the Ridge Runners, or not in the Ridge Runners, the Rock Grinders. They're just cheap, right? But overall, just was able to keep the screens up, and then nothing ever touched the cataphrons, and they just kept activating and just kept killing whatever they wanted. So moving on, we go into Tau. This is taken partway through turn 1. I got first turn, as you could probably guess, by infiltrators being up here. We had these rangers here. I did have a misplay here to where I actually shot with these guys, and I just shouldn't have. They didn't need to. I had shot some steppers to kill up like he had a lone op right here. This guy's a little awkward where he's at, but I end up effectively, I believe I got like forward positions, and I had set an infiltrator right here. They had started in this little pocket. And no, they couldn't have started right there. They started somewhere. They were able to get right here, and I charged them up, or I just declared a charge, got into these suits just to do some amount of damage, just be annoying, honestly, and then keep them from getting on to this point. So that got me forward, as well as just being here. These guys battle shocked. He didn't have anything else on his point. He had the little uppy downy suits, but they were behind this terrain feature, not on it. So I was able, either way, I was able to get forward positions. We go ahead and do the center action right here. This is against Purge, so this is the one to where I need to keep doing the action here in the center. It ends up being a very tight game because on 2 I left a rapid ingress spot for the twins right about here. They run up, they killed Call, and then a 6-inch deep strike ended up picking up Thulia. But as much stuff as he did pick up, he had picked up half the Ranger squad. He had picked up most of my infiltrators. All of the Cataphron bricks were left untouched. I was able to walk out and basically pick up 3 suit squads and the twin lance. And they only realistically had 1 squad left, and the big boys with the railguns. It ends up being a very tight game, as we can see here in round 2. It ends up being a 95 to 91. We started to like score it out. We had called time at round 4, and then we're like, well, let's just score it out just to see what like the diff would have been in turn 5. It would actually have been a draw based on the scores that Tice got. But then at the very end, we realized that I could have made a charge to touch a unit, and I needed like an 8, and I roll it out and I get a 9 the first time. And then that prevents 4 of his points. So it ends up being a 95 to 91. Overall, pretty good. I'm starting to realize that Purge isn't necessarily the biggest like 20-0 scorer in the game, but they're so consistent in how they need to score that, you know, it's hold 1, kill 1 basically, right? To get a half decent primary. So they're at least at the very least, they are a good blunter, right, for a team's list. Now, moving on, we go into Emperor's Children. I end up going first. I kind of move block a lot of the stuff that he has up here to where things can't fit, and then the Rhino can't get by with while still being able to drop out the Lord Exultant squad. He does send up the Winged Demon Prince and kill this unit right here. These guys had walked up. I believe this was the Prio v Prio matchup, so doing the actions mattered here. This was partway into his turn 1. Let's go over here to show you this corner. This is what it becomes. He puts the spawn on. Fulgrim comes and deals with these guys. The Winged Prince comes over here. He had 1 Tormentor live. All of my Battleclade shooting into it. And And yeah, it was a little tight. Turn 2, Lord Exultant comes out, and they kill the Ranger squad. Cat Brick comes, picks that up. We pick up the Winged Prince. I was a little annoyed at my opponent here because they didn't originally tell me that this had the Eternal Servitude, but that's on me for not checking. I was a little peeved at that, but it is what it is. We were able to, it moved up the next turn, and I was able to overwatch it and kill it, which was nice. It just barely though. And then yeah, he basically on turn 3, I want to say, just threw his entire army at me. Like, this Defiler staged up turn 2, and then I believe it ended up walking over here on turn 3. Maybe it was turn 4. Fulgrim was down here and fully committed in, and yeah, he just shoved everything into my face. And this was that game to where I said, hey, that Defiler walked in front of me, and I overwatched it with 6 Breachers, and I even rolled low. I only got like 3. It was at 16. And then I rolled 3 6s, and then the other 3 just happened to roll 4-ups because they're anti-vehicle 4-up. And then he didn't roll any saves. Didn't have the CP for it, and so it just died. And that was kind of the big thing, because this, like, I was already running pretty low on resources. If this activated, it probably picks up like 2 to 3 squads, and it gets very, very shaky for me in terms of like handling this, right? 10 infiltrators went into a Fulgrim that was on like 4, I want to say, and I spiked hella 6s, put a bunch of wounds on him, and he takes 3 damage. It was very rough, but it is what it is. And yeah, by turn 4, he was effectively tabled. Yeah, actually, yeah, he fully committed on his 3, and then I was able to table him on my following turn. So yeah, overall, pretty good game. I think this one was one of the bigger blowout ones just because of how quickly it ended. He wasn't able to get a whole lot of good scoring in, just because having to run at me. I was able to have Battleclade go and like pop into his Chaos spawn, which they had gone into here. I had left a Battleclade up in reserves, and so they popped down and shot into it and was able to pick it up. They just spiked hella. And yeah, so that's going to end day 1 for us, right? We are 3-0. This is the top. This is everyone that is undefeated. We have 2 more rounds. So effectively, there is a chance to where we only have 1 undefeated. At the end of round 5, or at the end of round 4, there will be 3 undefeated. So one of them will get a pair down, right? And this is if no one draws. One of us will get a pair down, and then the other 2 will play against each other, right? But as it stands up, Clint on Black Templars ends up going into Christopher Shelton. Dark Angels ends up going into CSM, and then the Admech mirror ends up happening. And I go into Edward. Now, I'm very tired because we didn't get, because of, you know, starting an hour later and then also having an extra hour lunch. We didn't get out of the venue until 10:30, and I live an hour and a half away, so I didn't get home till midnight, right? And just we're exhausted. Now, going into the next game, this is Admech v Admech, right? He's got a Dissy right here. He's got a Dissy up in reserves. He has another one back here. The robots, we talked about it afterwards, were placed way too defensively, right? These should have been like up here or something, and then they can walk forward over to here, or at least be right where this Dissy is, and the Dissy is somewhere else. Just because this staging spot is very good for the robots to be in. So yeah, it was a bit of an awkward position for him to be in. He ends up going first. He's going in with infiltrators first. I go ahead and have some stuff walk up to go. I have my Battleclade walk up, and I actually committed the 10-man brick turn 1 because this disintegrator ended up going into this pocket right here, and I was worried about it then going in over here to go shoot the Cataphrons, which, like, I don't think it's gonna kill all 6 of them, right? But it can do some like serious damage to them, and I didn't want that to happen. So I auto advance 6, run them up, and I swing charge the 5 infiltrators that are right here to where on a consolidate I'm able to touch the disintegrator. He does have the strat to fall back, shoot, and charge, but he ends up popping back this direction just because he didn't have the distance then without that advance to be able to clear this side, right? So he can't get into the Cataphrons. But that does mean I'm like down like my big commitment brick very early on, and now I'm just only playing with trash. So it's a little shaky. We can actually kind of see the later parts of the game. This is about turn 3. The robots finally stage into here, although my next turn, my destroyers are right here. It's very easy for them to get up into here. And it not I wouldn't say they kill this unit, but they kill it like 2 robots at the very least. He only has a couple Vanguard left. Call and the Battleclade are coming up, and he's about to shoot into my Thulia. I had just put a bunch of shooting in to kill his Thulia that walked up. I don't think that these guys kill Thulia. She's on 9. It all depends on if I roll 4-ups into Call's, you know, little pistol. But it is what it is. If he does whiff here, then it just loses, because then Thulia walks up, kills Call. Call also can walk up, help kill Call. These guys walk up, kill this crab. He's down to, these guys go ahead and kill 2 robots. This disintegrator's on 3, and I don't think it's, with where it has to like split its guns, I don't know what it wants to do, but more than likely I can just kind of look at it and also kill that. The Hastari are here. It's just I still have killing power. Ed at this point runs out of killing power. He does have a disintegrator up here as well, but effectively what we do is we walk up, we shoot these guys to death, and then charge here and just be an asshole there. Yeah, it's advantage for me. I don't think the game is decided for me, but hey, you might be wondering, why does this game look weird, by the way? Well, dear chatters, that is because we come to the main event of this event, which is the boat we're on caught fire. That's right. Well, okay, it itself did not catch fire, okay? Here is a funny little picture. I'm not super worried about showing anyone's face, because this is when we are all running away, evacuating. Well, not running away. Only this one person is here, but I could say, oh, we were running out the building evacuating. Now, what happened was there was a pier fire. I think there was like a electrical blowout or something like that on these wires. I'm not super sure what happened, but yeah, this popped, and then the wood itself was on fire. They were going to evacuate us. So we were going to the other side of the bridge. This is when we got told that we might not be able to get back on the boat. So a couple of us went to go grab our armies. Security was getting mad at us, like, no, you guys got to get off the boat, but like there's a line that's not moving to get off the boat. I went and grabbed my entire army, because dog, I am in an Admech mirror. There was like $5 grand on this fucking table. I'm picking up my models, and I'm not letting someone else go and handle them. And by the time we'd grabbed our stuff and gotten back, the line was still going, so we were fine. But yeah, so we were able to get back on after a couple hours. This is we went and got food, right? Because our boy here, Tice, who has a very beautiful twin lance. I don't think it's gonna show up on this. We're talking, this is like, this is golden demon level twin lance, okay? He had left it on the table. He was stressed as fuck, so we went ahead and got Jollibees while he's, you know, waiting to find out what happens. We're able to get back on the boat. We're able to grab our models. And then, yeah, this is everyone getting off with all their stuff. We go ahead and do an award ceremony. It's kind of weird how they do prize support, but that is the event. They call it at round 3. So actually, this is how the event ends, okay? How it was looking, I will say, in terms of a retrospective on how I think the rest of the list will work, is Chaos Knights were going into Black Templars. This is a War Dog list, and the Black Templars player is playing 2 20-mans of Crusaders and 2 Repexes. Chris's game was not going in his way, and I say this with all the love because this is a team member of mine. He didn't really have an out into this game. He does, but it wasn't going well for him. And then Cody Wright was going into Marcus. Marcus had already finished. Marcus, by the time, like an hour and a half in, he won. They had already submitted the scores. He trounced the Dark Angels. Boy howdy, that game ended quick. So effectively, the top 3 was going to be Clint, Marcus, and then probably me. And so long as I don't get the pair down, because I don't remember exactly what the 5-1 bracket is, but I wasn't super scared of most of the list there. In terms of what else was left, right? I think the matchup that is the shakiest for me is the Black Templars, but after like really checking it out, I think I just kill so many of the 20-mans with like the destroyers just going full hit rerolls. I wound you on 2s, AP4, just fucking kill them. Yeah, I think I delete both. I think into Clint or into, this was the CSM Terminator spam list. It was like 25 Terminators. They're all 3 wounds. Breachers love that. Like into both these, I'm pretty certain that I go 5-0 here, but I don't know, right? I don't want to just say, ho ho, I'm the better player here, so I win, yeah, hey. But that's how I would project it. I think I'm advantaged in going into round 5 to win this event. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It's only a 3-round event. I'm a little sad about it, but oh well. But yeah, like the venue is cool. This ship was awesome. It looked super sick. Here we see the beautiful Chicago skyline or city line, you know, just out here. God, New York looks beautiful this time of year. Anyways, I got a little selfie with it as well. I look disheveled. By the way, I got very sunburnt. It's not showing up here, but I got burnt. And yeah, overall, it was a very fun time, very cool time. I think the venue itself, like the concept of this event was great. And I don't want to sound like I'm trashing the event or trashing the TO. I'm saying is that most people there expressed the opinion that it wasn't ran with the most precision it could have been. And maybe we could put in a little bit of effort next time. There were also some things to where the TO was doing in between rounds and during the rounds that was very, this is just a guy who just happened to organize things. And it was, I would like a little bit more professionalism. If that were like shown to be a thing, I think a lot of our sentiments would flip from maybe we skip this next year to, yeah, I would definitely come back, because I don't want to hold the freak accident against the event. You can't predict that, right? This is not the event. This was not the TO's fault. But I'm saying that the sentiments before this happened was also very just like, okay, maybe we're good. But yeah, I had a very fun time. Overall, the list ran very good. I'm personally I'm a little bummed because I right now am pretty set to get best GSC this year for ITC. Not to reveal my plans here or anything like that. I'm pretty set on getting best GSC where I'm at right now. It's gonna take a lot for the people behind me to actually like realistically get to where I'm at. We see basically a 150 point lead here, right? And this is someone who has all their 5 events, so they need to replace effectively their events with, and these are already pretty decently scoring events. They need to get 250 more points out of this. And this isn't singling out John specifically, right? Same thing with Eric Tat, Thomas Davies, Dominic. Like, these are all very great people who play the game very, very well. I've no shame to them or anything like that. So what I want to try and do is, if you'll notice here, this is global. This right now is, after this event, I have shot up to 7th. I was at 4th, or I was at 11th beforehand. This is doable. It's something to where I can make a 250 point leap, because it's like 2 teams events, and then like it was 2 teams events and 3 RTTs. So this is going to, yeah, the carrier clash getting 2nd. I would expect that if this had played all 5, I don't know if this is weighted the same now anymore or not, because we only did 3 rounds. I know it would be weighted more because I got first, but oh well. But yeah, like LVTT, we ended up getting 6th, and then it's just like RT, right? And so my goal is to replace these RTs with actual events. And I don't think I'm going to get best Admech, but as it stands right now, is pretty doable. I would just have to take them to a couple bigger events and possibly even get like a big win at one of those events. Who knows? We'll see. It's something I'm definitely going to be shooting for, because possibly getting 3 best in factions, which once again I will show the way it's 3 best in factions. It would be Admech, it would be GSC, and then the very funny thing here is Forces of the Hive Mind is still a thing. This is a combination between Tyranids and Gene Stealer cults. I don't know why this still exists, but it does. It's just a competition between all this is like Florence, Matthew, Alex McDougall, all this kind of stuff. I think Alex also always puts his stuff under Forces of the Hive Mind. So funnily enough, if he put it under GSC specifically, he would actually be pretty close to me. But all of this, if you'll notice, all of these names show up for Tyranids, Florence, Matthew, all that kind of stuff, Mr. Beef. And so I'm basically competing to also, weirdly enough, like if you think about it, I'm also going to be best in faction Tyranids is basically what they're saying. Is in terms of the Forces of the Hive Mind, GSC is going to win this year. Unless the Tyranids tone it the fuck up, which, come on, guys. But anyways. So that would be the three. It would be Forces, it would be GSC, it would be Admech, which, who knows? Maybe it can happen. For right now, all I will say is the Admech list it's brutal. It's disgusting. It's like downright disrespectful. Just constantly shooting in with these units that just pour out damage. It's big rough. So I super love it. It does. I think its counters right now don't exist in the metagame, meaning you need to take specific tools and people don't rate those tools highly enough to take them in their lists. And that's not because the tools are bad. It's just, I don't think people, like, everyone right now, instead of trying to solve problems, is just trying to be the problem, because lists can be so greedy right now. And so this list just takes advantage of that. And it says, you don't have a way to like play this attrition game to where you have more trash than me. Thusly, I need to walk out first. So I'm just always going to win it because I have more trash and I don't need to commit my bricks. I can just have the brick walk out, do its thing, and then protect it with another screen, and you can't get to it because it's hidden, right? So overall, the list is very versatile. The list is very disgusting. I didn't feel like I went into anything this weekend to where I like felt disadvantaged, and I would be excited to play it in other events. I'm probably going to bring other lists. I don't know. I want to mess around with Admech as a whole and just see what I like, but as of right now, Radlords is disgusting. I want to try Cohort Cybernetica. I think Castellans are very, very good. I want to almost test a list that's like 5 to 6 of them. But we'll have to see. So that is going to be it for the whole event. I know I'm a little bit bummed. I wanted this event to go the 5 rounds. That way I could give you a honest to God. I went 5-0 with Admech. More than likely, I was going at least 4-0. If the fire happened an hour later, we would know that. I feel pretty confident in my chances of getting a 5-0 at that event, knowing what lists I would have to go into next. And both those people being like, dog, I did not want to play you. So, who knows? Obviously, anything could have happened. Any kind of, I have a big whiff turn. They get big advances. They get into me. They could have a blowout game. Absolutely. I'm not saying that, like, I 100% win it. I'm just saying I like my odds. Obviously, both my opponents, they're very, very skilled and talented players. They 100% could win those games. So, all I will say is that at the next event, I certainly hope a fire doesn't stop me from getting my chance in the finals. So, that is going to be it for me today. Let me know what you thought down below in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you'd like to get coaching from me for GSC or Admech or anything that you play in the game, go ahead and check out the Patreon. It gives you discount deals in terms of the standard rates that I do charge, and being able to get into the Discord, as well as some Patreon exclusive content that will eventually be coming. I know, I'm sorry, I just got caught up on stuff. Stuff is coming. And yeah, that's going to be it for me today. So I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye. Oh, I did it wrong. Roll that outro, baby. Goodbye.